Once again, Brian White has graciously agreed to help my attitude, to make me more humor oriented, to, I don't know, give me jollies. No, wait a minute. It's not, this is going well.
That
That's
doesn't
not
sound
going well.
right.
I'm going to turn it over to you, Brian. I'm not doing well here.
So we had just discussed a moment ago that I had a chance to meet with some car customizers who make Teslas quieter, and it was a lot of fun. It was interesting. It was something I hadn't realized was necessarily a thing. You see all kinds of modifications on cars. People lower them, people put on custom hoods and bumpers and things like that. But a lot of people will soundproof their Tesla, and you won't see it because it's under the skin. And this video got quite a bit of interest and quite a bit of attention. And I had quite a few people even ask me, who does this in the US? Because I was interviewing a company that does it in Europe. And the trick is when you try and look it up online, you find all these companies that want to sell you kits because they're the top results when you look. And it's really hard to find companies that actually do it.
Install it, yeah.
That actually install it. And one person said, yeah, but I don't need it quieter. I just crank up the radio. Yes, but it'd be nice to have it quieter too. So you don't have to crank the radio as much.
Exactly.
So there's a bunch of ways to do it, and some are pretty clever. The first thing that this company in Europe does is they pop off all the panels that have clips and they put on sturdier clips.
Huh.
So that none of your panels will rattle at any speed, at any frequency.
Oh.
Because you've had that where at a certain speed,
Sure.
something's rattling.
Yeah.
No more. That's done.
Huh.
That's a good one, right? Of course, they'll put sound dampener in the trunk area and the frunk area. Some of them will put it in the wheel arches, though it's disputed whether that adds any value or not. Some will take out your seats and put it on top of the battery pack to add a little bit of damper there. But the one that this company in Europe does that's more aggressive is they take off your door panel inners and put foam against the inside of the door panel. And at the premium level, they'll put on 3 different layers with 3 different properties to give you the full impact. And they, by their measurements, cut your road noise in half.
In half?
In half.
Oh, okay, now wait a minute. So to do that again, they're going to do what now?
Well, which part? You want all the parts?
Just the last one. The last one.
The last one is on your door panel.
Yes.
They take the inner panel off.
Yes.
And then inside against the metal of the outside, they put on 1 to 3 different layers of foam material that are secured there, and that cuts out a huge amount of noise.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Who would think? You would think the noise would be coming. I mean, coming through the metal door would be the last place I'd be thinking about. Cut the road.
It is the last place, but it is one of the places.
Yes. Well, all right. So this will cut road noise in half. Now, the only noise I ever notice, and I'm not paying that much attention. The only one I ever notice is when you're going down the California freeways. They have cut those grooves in to allow for better wicking of the rain off of the freeways, and so you get that. The car sings to you, and I've even seen somebody's done a video where they get it to sing a song. It's actually
praise be. I can't speak to that. I assume that would be half as loud. I did ask if they still offer the foam that quiets the passengers' mouths, and he said that those are not allowed. We don't do that. So, unfortunate, missed opportunity. Could really bring the stress levels down.
There might be pills for that as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
we're not recommending.
No,
this is not a suggestion. All right. Well, that's extremely interesting. I would have never, I mean, again, their cars are pretty darn quiet, especially I understand the Model 3 upgraded Model 3 is supposed to be extremely quiet.
It's real nice. It's real nice. And I had a chance to ride in one of those and drive one of those in Austria. So I have driven a Model 3 refresh on the Autobahn.
Nice.
And And when we were coming up on the area where there's about to be no speed limit, there was a Ferrari about, I don't know, 5 cars ahead of us. And Jan was like, when it opens up, I'm going to punch it. And I'm like, if you beat him, it's because he's not playing. This is a rear wheel drive. This is the second slowest Tesla ever built. If you want, and of course, by the time we got to that stretch of road, the Ferrari was gone because he had less concern for speeding tickets than we did. But yes, and I only went, I don't know, 110 miles an hour. So not very fast, but it was, by Autobahn standards, but that was what was reasonable for the road conditions and the traffic. So we, and that is the law. Don't drive in an unsafe manner. Don't weave in and out of traffic.
Sure.
So yeah, the noise levels were fantastic in that car. And of course, Jan now can't stop thinking about the soundproofing. Question I would have in the comments is, do you guys know, does the audience know places that offer this? Because if places that offer this exist, I would love to interview them for the US audience to find out if it's something that I can recommend, if it's something that I could go by and empirically test and see how well it works. And then of course, get it for myself, because there are very few upgrades I would consider for my car, but that is absolutely one of them.
That would be one of them. Yeah. So of course, to the extent that you change the sound dynamics of the car, would it affect the stereo dynamics? Would you?
No, shouldn't. If yeah, any different speed could create a different frequency, a different harmonic, but no, this wouldn't do it. One question they get asked a lot is, what about the weight? And he said, well, picture all the stuff we're about to put in the car. It's about the size of a small suitcase. If someone told you your car could be half the volume if you just carried around a small suitcase, would you do it? It's like, yeah, that's not much weight. And it's really not the weight so much that impacts the range you're going to get as the aerodynamics.
Sure.
And we're not changing the aerodynamics. We're not putting shag carpet on the outside of the car, although that would quiet things down.
So these were shops that you were talking about that are in the business of customizing Tesla vehicles, in addition to sound dampening or sound reduction. Were there other things that were particularly fun and interesting that they were doing to these cars?
One that was very interesting is presenting door handles for the 3NY, because as you know, you have to push for it to poke out.
Right.
And there was a taxi fleet in Berlin that had, I don't know, dozens of Teslas. And if it's your first time, you don't understand how to open the door. So what they would do is when they pull up, they click a button and the door handles pop out. So you see, oh, there it is. And you just grab it. So that's a not very expensive modification that makes the customer experience just better. And yeah. And unlike the self-presenting handles on a Model S or X, if this fails, you just open it normally.
So we saw yesterday driving down the freeway, we saw a perfectly good Lincoln Continental, very nice looking car, not a, still an ICE vehicle, but perfectly normal, raised way up with little tiny wheels. It looked horrible. It was the most ridiculous looking thing ever. All these shows you've gone to, all these different places you've gone, or anybody doing that nasty look to a Tesla?
Not that look, but there are plenty of wildly impractical modifications we saw where cars would be lowered to such a degree that it's unclear how they can navigate roads. And some of them will have the more expensive modifications would be on air suspension so they can raise up. But even still, then you'll see people with tires that are so thin that you just know they're replacing them all the time because you can't handle a single pothole with those. And there was a large group of people who had come from Eastern Europe with their heavily modified Teslas that I do not envy the road conditions they surely had to encounter over a distance that great, spanning multiple countries of, a various level of infrastructure spending, to put it politely.
So if you had reasonably unlimited, well, let's say somebody gave you a gift card for $1,000 for a modification on your Model Y, where would you start?
If so, money's no object in this scenario. The first thing I would do is definitely soundproof.
Oh, okay.
The second one I would do is I know there are shops that have softer suspension, customized softer suspension
they
for
do?
Model Y.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've already got the softest configuration, the smallest wheels with the largest tires. And I keep everything in comfort mode, but it's still a bit of a bouncy, stiff ride.
Yes.
And I think those are the two that I would do because you don't see them.
Yes. Yes.
And they will never subtract value. And then I guess I would tint the passenger and driver side windows. And that's something I'll do before too long. And then, of course, a wrap. But wraps are quite expensive.
What color?
I haven't decided. What I really like is like a gray, a silver and black color shift, but I haven't found one that looks like that. I've seen purple and silver. I've seen red and silver. So I'm not sure. That's the other reason it makes it difficult is I can't even go out and effectively price it out until I know what I want.
Yeah, there you go. That's true.
But that would make me less stressed out about brushing up against a bush or something when I'm getting into a parking spot,
Sure.
knowing that I'm not scraping up my paint. Yeah. And I suppose if money was unlimited, I probably would upgrade the speakers or something to go a little crazy, but I'm very happy with the sound system as it is. I have no interest in doing that with my own money.
No, yeah, there's a big difference between your money and somebody else's. Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, that fascinating about that, all those opportunities to quiet the ride on any current Tesla. I wonder if it's even true that the Cybertruck would be quieter because it sounds like a completely different set of things to concern ourselves with on a Cybertruck, and it's already super quiet. But
it's
anyway,
already very quiet. And I would say another question in the comments would be, what modifications would you guys do? Because it'll give us an interesting cross section of humanity here.
Yes, and potentially go out and find out if these things are possible.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hey, Brian, thanks as usual. Appreciate you coming on. And all of you out there, we all appreciate you. And we appreciate you going over to Brian's channel and watching some of his videos and potentially even joining his Patreon.
Ooh,
what an idea. And then, subscribing to his channel and then subscribing to mine. Don't subscribe to his before you subscribe to both. Just do both. It's not. Yeah. All right. Enough of this. It's been great talking to you.